so this is another video. We're going to do everything that I dislike about the Cayman R. Now, I said in my other video, there are very few things that I hate about this car. There are no things that I absolutely cannot live without with this car. I think that it is a very good car, but there are things that could have been better that I think Porsche changed or manipulated when they made the GT4, and they fixed a lot of these issues. And so I'm going to jump right into it. One of the things in my last video about what I loved about this car is actually one of the things that I dislike about this car. And bear with me for a second, but basically what I dislike about this car, or one of the things that I dislike about this car, is the seat. Now, it came with two different seat options, and I love these sport bucket seats, but I will say that they are not by any means a grand touring seat. When you drive this car for longer than 40 minutes, your back will start to hurt. It has very little lumbar support. It is not, again, a car that you want to drive cross country. I've driven it a couple hours at a time, and let me tell you, I was sore and tired. But again, that's not what this car is used for. But again, it's something that I dislike about it. Also, the seats have pretty wide bolstering on the sides. And what that means for consumers or drivers, you can't be a very big person. This is a small car, and that is one of the knocks against it. It doesn't have a lot of trunk space. It doesn't have a lot of boot space. Front trunk or boot, it's a hatchback, and it's mid-engine. But you really can't fit in this. I am kind of snug in here, and I'm very small. I'm about 150 pounds, so even I don't struggle, but it does make getting in and out of this car somewhat difficult sometimes. It has. Now, one of the things that I dislike is that it's low on power. Now, I said in my other video that one of the things that I love about the Cayman R is that it isn't overpowered, because I think that Porsche sometimes has a tendency to do that to some cars that are special editions. But with this car, I think they didn't overdo it, but I don't think that they found that perfect amount. And I think that's why some people always thought that the Cayman didn't meet the standards or didn't come close to matching the level of the Porsche 911. Because it didn't. Because they kept it so low powered. Now this has 10 extra horsepower over the Cayman S. Is it noticeable? Maybe a little bit. But they didn't add any torque. And when you don't add torque, I think that hurts the feeling of the car. Now, you can get this car to accelerate 0 to 60 in about, if you're good, about 4.6, 4.7 seconds, I think, according to some of the magazines and everything. Now, that's pretty good, but you don't feel the acceleration as much as you would in a car that had a little bit more power. And I think that they could have made that quicker had they given the better gear ratios, which leads me to my next thing that I dislike about the car. The gear ratios are very long, I would say, and I don't know the technical term that I'm looking for necessarily. And to put it in perspective, what I mean is you could basically do 104 miles an hour in third gear before hitting the limiter, which I think is just way too long. I think if they made it a little shorter, at least maybe 1, 2, and 3, it would make the car a lot more fun to drive on the track. On the track, you literally can leave it in third, depending on the track, and hardly have to shift ever. Which again isn't a bad thing, because again you're then focused more on driving, but you really want to be shifting gears and stuff. And I feel like, especially with how good the gearbox and the clutch is, you really want to be shifting gears, and you feel like you should be doing it way more than you actually are. So I if I was Porsche, I would have made the gear ratio a little lower and added a little bit of low-end torque. A lot of the torque on the torque curve is way up at the top end, which is one of the things that I don't like as well, because when you're sitting in traffic or going around town and you want to just kind of punch it, you kind of have to wait. I wouldn't say it's turbo lag-ish of waiting, and it's a very linear progression or linear power curve, but still it hurts the car, I think, and I think that's where it loses some people. Now, one of the other things that I don't really like is some of the stuff is wearing out, but it is an 8-year-old car, so I don't expect it to last forever. The Alcantara on the steering wheel is essentially leather now. I don't think it really has any of its, other than maybe at the bottom here where not a lot of people have held it. It doesn't have a lot of its feel left, which is kind of disappointing. And the ride quality is not great. I will admit that. Again, I keep saying the one thing I don't like about it is that it isn't a Grand Tour. I wouldn't recommend taking it on long journeys. So the ride is I think it's 33 millimeters lower than the Cayman S. And it's got a little bit of different suspension too. So you feel every single bump, which is somewhat unfortunate. I mean, I think again, it makes it so you don't want to drive this around town. Other than that, it's a great driving experience, other than your spine hurts and things. Now, with the standard seats, it may be a little bit better, but again, I wouldn't take this on long journeys because it's not a comfortable car, which it's comfortable on the track, but on the road it can be kind of hard and it's got a rough ride. So all in all, this is a very, very good car. And I don't want this video to deter anybody from actually purchasing this car, if you can find one secondhand, because I am a firm believer that because of its limited production, it's got the R badge, it is a very good Porsche, and it's held its value really well so far. I believe it's going to be a future collectible. I think people are going to want this. I think this car does evoke a lot of emotions, and again, that's the one thing that I love about the car. It is a true driver's car. It makes you want to be focused without making that focus be out of fear. It makes that focus because it's engaging, and it makes you feel like you're part of the car. It doesn't make you feel like you're trying to hang on for dear life in that sense, like I feel like some cars that make you want to focus on driving do. Now, again, I love this car, and don't let this video deter you, but these are just some of the things that I dislike or that have bothered me as I've owned this car and driven this car. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video and you want to see more reviews and things like that, put some comments in the comments below on what you want to see. If you can, please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification button so you know every time a video comes out. Thanks for watching, and I hope you come back for more car therapy. Check these out. Can't even fit anything in here. Why even have these?